We've got some half-price garden lights, SPDs, Artful DDs, Trade Sparky MFTs, bold claims, jack chains, uni-frames and fuse box goods. Ideal snicker track suits from a mush in Shepherd's Bush.
Hello and welcome once again to the Electrician's Guide to Everything podcast with me, David Savery, and my esteemed colleague here,
Nicholas Bundy.
Nicholas Bundy, indeed. Once again broadcasting from the rusty backbox public house. And we're glad to be here, aren't we, Nick? I mean, the odds were against it with this coronavirus thing closing pubs and Barry the bastard barman throwing us out on our respective ears at the end of the last episode. Do you remember that?
Yep. Yeah, I think we probably caught everything you possibly can catch being in this place, so coronavirus got nothing on us.
Yeah, he didn't let us have the lock-in with Gaz last time, and but you know he's just annoyed because we've got that clip of him singing drunk on that karaoke night a while back, and he knows we're using it as the theme tune for this show. I think he expects royalties or something. But there's surprisingly more punters than I expected in tonight. Though to be fair, it is the only pub that's still open around here, I think. And listeners may well ask why we are down the pub and not self-isolating. Well, this virus doesn't affect kids, so Nick's all right, and I've got enough alcohol inside me to neutralise any bacteria.
Yeah, and I found as well, from everyone washing their hands, the peanuts in the bar are starting to taste a bit strange, a bit different.
So, personally, I'm a walking hand sanitizer. In fact, Nick, if you grip my nozzle and jerk it up and down a few times, I'll dispense something creamy you can rub into your hands, mate.
That's gross.
Oh, yes. Gaz isn't here this week to keep us from misbehaving. We're back in the gutter.
Oh, Jesus.
And our remaining trips to the pub may forever be curtailed, Nick. And here you are, still not drinking anything right and proper. What have you got in front of you this week?
This is a delightful, cold pink lemonade.
A pink lemonade? What makes it pink?
I don't know. It's got 2 cubes of ice, and it is delightful.
It is pink as well, yes.
What are you drinking? What's that?
Well, I'm on the Corona Extra. You won't be surprised to hear. It's not. It's something Barry the bastard doesn't normally have on tap, but he's cashing in on the name. He's one never to miss a trick, is old Barry.
Fucking Corona, honestly.
Hey, Nick, look at that. You'll never guess who's just driven into the car park. It's only John Ward himself.
Not again. JW will absolutely never, ever come here.
I'm telling you, Nick, it's John Ward. He's parked up. He's out of his wagon.
Mate, your eyesight's on the frizz. That's not JW.
It really is, Nick. He's going to come in here and say, "Hello, I'm JW, and tonight I will be dominating the Big Jenga." Won't that be spiffing, Nick? Big Jenga with JW. I hear he's good, but I'm pretty adept at it myself. I don't mind admitting.
Dave. That's not JW. It's Luke from My Trusted Electrician.
Luke? What does he know about Big Jenga? I have to say, I'm a little disappointed, Nick.
Luke, come over here, dude. Come join us.
All right, chaps. I didn't notice you're local. I'm only here because the other better pubs have been shut down due to the coronavirus.
Yeah, the government have been trying to quarantine this place for years, but without much success. I think a few viruses have incubated in the carpets here.
Okay, well, I'm going to nip off quickly, grab what am I going to have? A Guinness Blackcurrant. As you know, I like my purple. Can I get you guys anything?
Well, I'll have another dose of the Corona for me, please, Luke. Cheers.
And you, Nick?
No, my pink lemonade's all right, thanks, mate.
Luke's been doing the old podcast rounds this year, Nick. He's been on with the EGT boys and the E5 chaps, and now he's walked in here. He can grace our amateur little broadcast.
Well, he's peaked, I think. The peaked one.
This is the one. Well, he probably would have run out of things to talk about ordinarily, but I guess we do have something topical we can chat shit about because this Corona thing is one event that has us all in the same boat for once. Rather like a good old world war, Nick. We've all got to dig for victory, lament the lack of bananas, and give a good British twos up to the foreign invader who's threatening our traditional toiletry habits.
Okay. Yeah, as I say, he's spoken very informative on, especially the E5 podcast, and then he's come to us so we can just literally chat. Absolute nonsense.
Absolute nonsense.
Absolute nonsense.
Lower the tone. Drag him down to our level for once, eh?
That's right. Yeah, Dave. Donald drunk at the bar. He's chewing on Luke's ear there. Can you see?
No, he's always hijacking our guest to talk about something, isn't he?
I've actually got a little game we can play with him in a bit when he comes back from the bar.
Looking forward to that, Nick.
Yeah, thanks. Oh, shh. David's coming back.
Here you go, fellas. Here's your drinks.
Oh, cheers, boss. Do take a seat.
Not there.
Sorry, Luke, it's just that stall is reserved for old Jack and Colin, his faithful cockapoo cross. He sometimes joins us for a snake bite before closing time.
Yeah, he's a bit stingy about his stall. You sit next to me, mate.
Cheers, Nick. Cheers, fellas. Cheers.
Luke, we noticed Donald the Drunk giving you an earful at the bar. What was he yapping about?
Oh, was that Donald, was it? He was chatting to me about some Ideal Industry products.
Oh, Ideal Industries. Quite a lot of tools and test equipment for the Sparknificent-minded, I find, don't you, Nick?
Yeah, today I used the Ideal Safe Isolation Lock-Off Kit.
Oh, very good, very good.
I've heard of that. That sounds pretty good.
It's it's a nice piece of kit. Me and Adam had a look at it and locked it off. RCD one, go with the padlock, showing Adam bits and bobs with it. So it's got a quite comprehensive kit in there for and a nice little bag. It all sits in.
Fantastic. Is it anything like a self-isolation kit?
Little bag of antibacterial wipes, the face mask,
Full of alcohol.
And a chubber.
Yeah.
Did you boys see on Twitter that recent post from Monty Electrics where he was reviewing the Ideal Shore Trace circuit tracer?
No.
I'm afraid I'm not actually on Twitter.
Oh, admittedly, it's price range, being a mainly domestic spark, but if you did a large commercial or industrial sites where you need to positively ID a circuit and can't risk knocking the wrong one off, then that would be the absolute boom. Interesting bit of kit. You might want to look at that.
That'd be amazing.
Soon enough, we may none of us be able to afford any new kits because, gents, tell me how this COVID bother is affecting your business.
Right, me first. I'll go. I've had one customer ring up the other day, cancelled on me. Elderly couple, absolutely fine, understandable. Other than that, it's just all, to me, with customers, it's just far in the wind, really. They don't really care. I think into the moment, the government, if they ever do, they go, right, that's it, everyone's staying down, inside, lockdown, then yeah, it's going to affect me. But no one really around my area really gives that much of a toss about it, to a degree. Obviously, all the shops are empty, but my phone has gone a bit quieter, but it's one of them. I'm not really noticing the effect as much, but I know a few guys around the area have got no work whatsoever. So, what about you, Lou?
I have had one cancel. It was for an EICR, and it was a bit peculiar because we was due to do the EICR on a Thursday, and we got a WhatsApp, and it said that she was self-isolating and she couldn't do until Sunday. So I think she must know something I don't, but apparently from Sunday onwards we're going to be okay.
Is that the end of her 7 or 14 days or whatever it is?
We're saying that she didn't actually mention what Sunday it was, so maybe it wasn't this Sunday.
Well, did you lot say on Facebook? I sent to me loads of times about all the army being patrolled around, because when I dropped Adam off in Stafford, you've got the RAF camp and the army camp around the corner, and there was so many trucks and jeeps coming out past my van, past his house. And then I got back later and the other officers telling me about how come Friday night the government's putting everyone on lockdown, the army's going to be patrolling the streets, all that sort of stuff. And I was like, and it was all over Facebook, but every time something was put on, Facebook removed it straight away.
Yeah, but Facebook is full of bollocks, mate.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, if I hadn't seen all the army lorries and whatnot, but then the more and more you listen to it, and you think, oh, well, is it going to happen? Is it not? Don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an expert. I don't really know the ins and outs of it.
I know it's hard to know sort of what to do, isn't it? Because at the moment, as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of business as usual. I've had 2 cancellations, but by the same token, we've got a safe site that we're currently working on. One that's uninhabited.
Yeah.
There's only one other person there who's the builder.
Yeah.
And we can just go in and crack on and battle away with our first fixing. He's working in a different room to us. He was working outside while we were first fixing the kitchen today. And, you know, I can't see how you can avoid getting it, personally. I think unless the whole country, everyone as a whole, isolates for 3 weeks or something, how can you avoid getting it when you're still going out to the shops, still got your family around you? My daughter, she works at a supermarket, so you know, it's, even if I decide to sit on my arse for a couple of weeks, I've still got these external influences. Is
that flora or fauna?
You know, I'm not even sure. I'll have to look it up in the definitions.
Fungi. No, I totally agree. I mean, even if he was to self-isolate for 6 months, who's to say we're all going to come out, sort of, smell the sunshine, and then someone's going to come over from another country who's still got it, and then we all got to go hide again for another 6 months.
Yeah, either the bird flu's come back to China or something. This is it though. I'm getting all my valuable, detailed resources off Facebook. So,
Gordon Bennett.
You know what I'm saying. But then again, I listened to Chris earlier. Chris did put a little video on the YouTube, and about because he's got him quite bad work wise. He's had 4 or 5 jobs cancelled, and he was saying about some people. I know I've managed to save up enough money, so if I had to have a month, 2 months off work, it's not an issue. It will suck because my savings will be drained, but at the same time, I'll be all right. But for the guys that are living day in, day out, or week by week, it's gonna kill them. It's gonna crucify people like that.
I'll tell you as well. It might actually be a very slow response for us to lose work, because I know a lot of people that have lost their jobs. And even though the electricians might be doing quite well today, if your customer's customer has lost their job, it's going to be a chain reaction until eventually your customer hasn't got a job either. Yeah. Because where he's getting his supplies from and getting his work from dries up. Or even worse, you may issue a load of invoices one week, and that might be the week that the next domino loses all their they can't pay you basically.
Have you heard anything from the wholesalers? Because our aid was in cities today, and I said, "You guys closing down," and they were like, "Well, until we're told to, no, it's just business as usual." But
same as mine.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Once the wholesalers close down, that's just screwed, really. Unless you're stockpiling Twin and Earth and capping and knockout boxes. Have you guys been panic buying? How's your toilet roll stocks?
We've panic buy tea bags. We've got about 60 tea bags, but we did forget the biscuits.
Well, I stockpiled. I didn't
Thanks for bringing them to the pub, Nick.
Oh, you're welcome, yeah. Have one.
Cheers, mate. What do you think, mate?
I did an Instagram video the other day when I was in Tesco. Did the food shop, and it was slow. It was sucky. There was a lot of people in there. There was not a lot of stuff. I wanted to get some beans for the kids. None. I wanted to get some juice. Not a lot. I need to get some paracetamol, some stuff for the kids. Baby wipes, nothing. And I thought, okay. So I ended up getting more stuff than others. But I would say a week and a half's food shop for the weekend. But then I think it was 2 nights ago, I was having a chat with someone, and I ended up going to the local co-op where the village I'm from, and they had loads of stuff still, because where I'm from is just full of old people. Yeah. So I went and bought some stuff, but then I picked like 4 super noodles up, 4 packets of biscuits, just bits and bobs like that, not stupid amount. Got to the till. Oh no, sorry Nick, it's because everyone knows me then. Oh, it's only two items. I was like, oh, right, so that was it. I managed to walk out with 50 quid being a co-op. 50 quid, I must have bought about 7 things. But other than that, stockpiling, no, not really.
So which 2 porno mags did you buy?
Gay Times and I can't read the other one out. I've not got my glasses on.
I heard a story once about a guy going to a petrol station, and he noticed that on the top shelf there was categories of porno magazines, and they went up in age range in like sort of groups of 10, like 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and he had a little laugh with the guy behind the counter. He said, "Have you not got any 70s?" And he goes, "No, we're all out. They're the only ones that can't use the internet."
Oh.
Talking about an age range there, is that a range of the people or aimed at the people who buy it?
You're trying to catch me out. I haven't actually looked in them yet, David, so I wouldn't know.
Oh, this reminds me. Should we play the little game with Luke, Dave?
Yeah. What game have you got in mind? What family Christmas favourite can you think of, Nick?
Well, I just think it'd be, seeing how many thousands of people might listen to this podcast, I thought it'd be really interesting to see. We'd rather have a game of Would You Rather.
Oh, well, would you rather have a What's It for a Nose or Quavers for Lips?
That is exactly what I was going to ask.
Well, go on then. I'm up for a game of that. What's the worst that could happen? Did I mention I'm not on Twitter?
You'd be fine. You'd be fine. Dave will get the stick. No, because when Dave does something, he just then points the finger and says, "Oh, if you've got any complaints, go to Nick Bundy." I got loads of stick from people from Birmingham for some reason, and then I realised why. Cheers, Dave. What's up with Birmingham, Nick? Where do you live? Where does your shithole? What? Then I realised David tagged me in a tweet. That's great.
I could be more pleased with the way that turned out.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
So I've not really been panic buying in the shops. I mean, just to add to that, when I was in the shop today, the shelves are empty, but I heard the cashier say, don't worry, it's going to be stocked up again first thing tomorrow morning. So I don't know why people are panic buying, but I don't know if it's just me and my mentality, I have actually been considering like panic buying at the wholesaler. I was chatting to Tommy today, I was thinking maybe I should maybe get 2 or 3 fuse boards on the van, a load of breakers, get some sockets, anything for emergency call-outs. I know I've got a lot of fuse boards in the pipeline. I've done a lot of EICRs, a lot of remedials, include a DB upgrade. And I just thought if the wholesalers close, I might potentially have a lot of work, but I won't be able to carry it out. So yeah. I don't know about you guys. Have you been thinking about this as well?
Well, yeah. I had a chat with Adam and quite a few people because I carry quite a bit of stock on the van anyway. I always go to a job and let's say they have 8 sockets. I end up buying a pack of 10. So I've got my shelving with sockets, mattresses, cable. I've got enough stuff to keep me going. I can pretty much rewire someone's house, I think. I don't have enough stuff on the van. But that's what I was saying. If we went into lockdown, right, so let's just say it does happen, and they say no one's allowed out, only one person to the shop and back. But are we classed then as an emergency service? Because let's say Deirdre down the road and her husband has a ventilator at night and their power trips off. Are we allowed to go...
someone's got to get the lights back on. I mean, this is it. I put in a 5-level alert plan.
So I've seen this.
I saw that, David.
Yeah, level 5.
I like level 5.
Level 1 being we are dead. And somewhere in between, is where we're going to be floating around. We're currently on level 4, but if we drop to level 3, which is then, we are talking emergency call-outs only, because, like you say, if I get called out to Coventry and the police pull me over and say, what are you doing out? Why are you on the roads? I'll be like, well, Deirdre at number 63 Ship Street, she's got no fucking heating on, no sockets, no power. Someone's got to go and get that working for her again. Someone's got to go out and do it. And unless the army are willing to take on the task, then we're still on, as far as I'm concerned, emergency call-out duty, and that will continue until such time as we're knocked off our feet, I guess.
Well, this is it. I mean, like you said earlier, because the past 2 days I've had an empty house. Next week I've got an empty, it's a dog groomers. It's a complete blank canvas. I'm going in there to first fix. How far do you push it? Am I on a call out? To everyone that can't see me, I just did the abbreviation fingers. I'm on a call out and I can still go to work to an empty unit, or how strict is this going to get?
Well, it's the same with people who work at chemists or food retailers or whatever. There are certain companies manufacturing medical equipment, medicines, chemists, ventilators. That's what the government want the manufacturers to be knocking up at the moment. There's still people who have to man these industries, and someone's got to keep the power running, haven't they? So you might have to get some, like the French at the moment, they've got papers they have to take around with them and renew every day, haven't they? So it might come to something like that where you have to show your papers at checkpoints or whatever, and it all sounds very militaristic, or whatever the word is. It's all sounds very worrying, really, doesn't it? Do you think we'll ever return back to situation normal, life as we knew it, or is this the beginning of something new and different?
Sadly, I don't think we're going to return to normal until everyone's got it.
Do you think we'll ever return to normal, though? Because you've got governments all around the world, every country basically, saying we're going to close borders, take emergency controls, put troops on the street, ban flights in and out, make everybody stay at home unless we tell them otherwise, make them fearful to go out. We've basically got the population by the nuts, every government in the world. And there are going to be some who potentially will milk this and go, well, while we've got this great control, let's keep it. And when you're fucked when your comms stop working, when your mobile phone and your internet goes, that's when you're screwed, because you can't have public gatherings anymore. And if they take away your online stuff, then
can't listen to podcasts.
Yeah.
Do you reckon Boris is to blame for this? I mean, after all, he did promise us Brexit.
That's the trouble. There's a lot of
he just didn't know how he was going to deliver it.
Yes, Brexit. That's so last year's news, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you seen all the pictures of like Venice canals and all this sort of stuff with all the wildlife are starting to come back and the water's becoming cleaner? Like, you can see it coming to a stage where, let's say, we're on lockdown for another month, the whole world, where the ecosystem is slightly recovering and the world is healing itself. At what point did the government look at it and go, we've caused this much damage, should we set aside, should we stop doing this, should we start doing that? And because, like you say, the fish are back in Venice, the rivers and oceans are looking a bit healthier because of less pollution. You can see the sky in China for the first time in 35 years, and it's just ridiculous.
Well, this is it. There is that benefit to the environment in a certain extent, in that exhaust emissions are down and that sort of stuff. I think you've probably got an increase in plastic pollution because people buying processed foods to try and sort of stockpile on and that sort of thing. I don't know. It could be a positive environmental impact, of course, and it may also be a sea change in the way people work. With everybody suddenly working from home, maybe companies will look at that and go, you know what, do we really need an office? Do we really need to be gathering people together? Perhaps this could be something that we just do more of in the future and encourage more of.
Yeah, everyone take a month off. Yeah. Everyone has a month off.
I definitely agree. That would be a good idea as well. I definitely agree. I reckon from this, people are going to learn a few lessons of what they can and can't do in their own house. I wouldn't be surprised if in the next 10 years, it's the norm to actually just work from home and not even have an office. I mean, we already get remote and like virtual assistants and things like that, and we can sort of virtually have a landline that goes to a mobile. It really wouldn't surprise me if we had virtual offices where people just work from home and maybe had like a PO box.
Yeah. I mean, everyone that keeps ringing me recently from offices, I think I had Witch ring me the other day. So he was like, oh yeah, we're on lockdown, I'm just ringing you from home, blah, blah, blah. I said, oh, how's that? I said, have you even got dressed yet? And he obviously said, yes, no, of course, I'm sat here in my suit. And
you asked the guy from Witch what he was wearing.
No, because he got to come Jesus, I'm going to have some more pink lemonade. No, but like, it just sort of flowed into conversation. He said, oh, I'm working from home. This is sort of stuff. I said, oh, God, I'd be no good at that. I would never get anything done. I'd be walking around in dressing gown all day. That's how that conversation came about. I should start with that really next time. But yeah, I can see it working. Like my brothers work. They all answer phones and they help till software and that sort of stuff. They could work from home, no problem.
I had an office job once where occasionally I'd work from home and I got a shitload more done because there's no one interrupting you.
Yeah, true.
And if you've got a project that you really need to see through, so long as you're not, it's been a good sort of 10 years or so since I last worked from home, back then you didn't quite have the distraction that is Netflix and YouTube and that sort of stuff, or Fortnite or whatever. So, but you still had your PlayStation or whatever, and but I found, it wasn't that hard to get into the mindset to sit down, crack on, get the job done, and I found I was more productive doing it personally. I'd love to be able to work from home as a Sparky. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Not having to get out.
Imagine that. It's what I do sometimes when someone rings me up for a call out, and I'll go, because I know I cannot be asked to go, or I've gone with the kids or whatever. So I'll just say, just FaceTime me and put me at your fuse board. Just flick this up and flick that down. It. Oh, Nick, it's worked. That's brilliant. That's perfect.
The red one. The red one. No, the red one. No, Marge,
hello. There. Hello. But yeah, I've done that quite a few times. I know I could have earned myself 40, 50 quid or whatever for a call out, but I'd rather just...
Yeah, we've all been there where you're home of an evening, you've put the toolbox away, you've resigned yourself to having a lazy one, and maybe even cracked open beer, and the phone rings, and you know it's just an RCD trip. Yeah, okay, just flick that back up and see if it stays up, and if not, call me back.
All right, lads, can you just put me in the right direction of the gents?
Yeah, man, over there, round the bar.
Right to the fruit machine. I hope he's going for a number one, Nick, because someone nicked all the loo roll out of the stalls earlier this evening.
I can't imagine why. Barry still stocks that shiny stuff they used to use in the schools. It's like grease-proof paper.
Oh, balls, really? Well, in that case, they may magically reappear again before closing. I didn't even know they still made that stuff.
I think Barry stockpiled it in the 80s.
Be nice and stockpiled some soap and fix the busted hand dryers.
Who's the lady going around the tables, Dave? I saw her saying something to Luke on the way to the loo. Oh, hang on, she's coming this way.
All right, lads. If you're interested, I'm out back tonight. Spit job's a £5, Toothless is 10, and Knee Trembler is 15. Or I'll let you use the fire exit for 20 quid and a loo roll.
Ooh.
I'll do you a discount if you both want to go together.
Bloody hell!
Wow. I think we're all right, actually, love. We're just here for the beer and atmosphere.
Atmosphere? Are you taking the piss? Well, you know where to find me if you change your mind.
Crikey, okay. Luke's coming back.
Blimey, lads, I had to use a disabled toilet. There's no loo roll in the gents.
You know, I've never been in the disabled loo. Were there any posters up on the wall?
Yeah, there's a circus one that's been postponed, and a CP Fuse box poster.
Yes, we like those, don't we, Nick?
Yeah, man.
Actually, talking about that CP Fuse box, Nick, I saw that you've done a video recently. You put in, well, I call it a double-decker board. I don't know what you refer to it as.
Double stacker, double shotgun board, bloody duplex, whatever. I don't know. Whatever's written on the box. Yeah, it was wicked. I needed a massive board it was my brother's house I did it at. Actually, I had someone the other day, Nick, how much do you charge him? I was like, it's my brother, I didn't charge him anything. They're like, what, not even materials? No. My brother's had my pants down doing his stuff around his house, I tell you. But no, it was good. Loads of space. Like you say, it's just the same as fitting. It's just two boards on top of each other. But no, really impressed, and it looks pretty sweet as well. It's a shame it actually sat in a cupboard, but it's one of them boards that you wouldn't mind sat on the new builds when they have them all up on the top of the front door, don't they? Yeah. As long as the fusibles aren't the nice thing to look at, but as far as they go, I'd be happy with that one. So yeah, no, I highly recommend them.
I saw Adam done his first fuse board. How's he getting on now?
Yeah, sweet mate. I can't blow enough smoke up his arse to be fair to everyone I speak to, but he's perfect. Honestly, he wants to learn. That's the best thing about him. He's always asking questions, and I just said to him, "Do you fancy doing your own board? I'm going to film it because not many people have any, whatever that you change your first fuse board and someone sticks a camera in your face. Never mind showing it to, I think, what's that, 15,000 views." I said, let's give it a go. I said, it's all up to you. You ask any questions you want, but I can guide you if you ask for it, but I'll let you do it. You've seen me do it enough times. And he enjoyed it. He was good at it. There's a few things that he picked up afterwards. I just said, what would you do? What would you change if you went back to it now? And he came up with a few things, and he's doing great. What about Tommy?
Yeah, Tommy's not doing too bad. I just wanted to pick up on something quick that you just said about the what would you change? I think that is a really valuable thing on anything. Yeah. On anything you do. I mean, I pick my own work to pieces personally. Every task you do, I think if you are self-judging on your own work and always look for things that you'd like to improve on, I think you're going to always go in the right direction. And for Adam to be looking at things like that, he's going to go a long way. Yeah,
definitely. The thing is, what I don't understand, because he had a lot of messages. I had a lot of messages for him, but then likewise, people are getting hold of Adam, other apprentices getting hold of Adam on Instagram or social media or Snapchat as well. I don't know Snapchat, and they're asking him to say what's it like and all this sort of stuff, and they're telling me that their bosses don't let them do anything, and they're just stuck in the background moving stuff. And I said, Adam's done his time of getting stuff from the van, but he's always been given a screwdriver and say, go and do that. How do I do it? You've seen me do it. You do it your way. Power's off. You're not going to die. Just give it a go and you'll learn. And what I don't understand with other people is I'm trying to get Adam to do as much stuff as possible, because in the long run, he's going to be earning me money. That's why we employ people, to earn money from, to make our life a bit easier. So why wouldn't I want to show him as much stuff as possible, as quickly as possible, because he wants to learn it, he's thirsty for it, and he's good at it, for then a couple of years down the line when I can just go, Adam, I've got a new van, you have my old one, that board needs changing, off you go. Yeah.
You've known Adam for a long time. Was he pretty hands-on before he come to work for you? Did he have physical hobbies and tasks that you used to carry out?
Not really. His dad's a mechanic. So I've known his dad like a brother to me when I was little. So he's always been doing stuff with his dad, with his hands wise, but he's good on computers, Adam is. So he's technical minded, but he's not afraid to get his hands dirty at the same time. So I think it's a very good mixture between the two, where I've given him a screwdriver and he knows what a flathead is, he knows what a posi is, he knows what a spanner is, he knows the different sizes of spanners, probably more than I do. So with a bit of background in it, it's helped him a long way. When some of the college lads that have come in, and Adam's saying, oh yeah, some of them were using two hands on side cuts to cut cable with. And he said, you just look at him like, Jesus, but not everyone can have a background on the hands, on the tools. So
yeah, that's the reason I ask. I mean, I was brought up with Meccano, Lego, Connects, Technic, the lot. I loved it. I was consistently you know, out in the garden doing physical things, finding snail shells and forcing slugs into them. I was really practical. But I found the next generation, I think they're more, their Lego is Minecraft.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
they've never picked up a screwdriver. And Tommy, bless him, is really good on all the regulations and stuff. But watching him with a screwdriver is like watching Bambi on ice.
It's unnatural.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting there slowly, but we've literally had to start from day one. I think that's going to be something we're going to find a lot more now when we get the next generation of apprentices. This isn't just going to be teaching them electrics, it's going to be teaching them, you know, physically how to, you know, get your hands dirty and, you know, pick up a few tools and do a few things. There's a lot of eye-hand coordination.
Obviously, Nick got Adam from knowing the family, but where did you get Tommy from, Luke?
I approached a college, my local college, because I wanted somebody local, because some of the problems I've had in the past with apprentices are they are very willing, but bless them, they don't earn a lot of money, and if they have to come a very long way in the morning and go home a very long way of an evening, they lose a lot of their own private time, which isn't really fair. I can't always pay them more money for those missing hours, because at the beginning, I don't know if you'd agree, Nick, but they're more of a, I wouldn't want to say expense, they're like a investment, and until they get to a certain level, and that's if they want to stay with you, until they get to a certain level, they're just an extra bill.
And I imagine they slow you down until they get to a certain level as well.
Sadly, I mean, there are times when they speed you up. I mean, when I've got a lot of small jobs on, just Tommy going to and from the van, carrying the tools onto site. And, you know, when I finish site, it's really nice when you sort of turn that last screw, you look around and the whole site's cleared, it's on the van, you just jump in the van, drive off. That makes you a lot of money, but sometimes, I mean, they might drop the odd light fit in and, you know, break the odd thing, or you have to do something twice.
Well, you know, mistakes happen, and you can't hold that against them because accidents will happen. But
I've made my own fair share of mistakes, to be honest, so I totally understand.
But the important thing is to have someone who has initiative, even if they're not great on the. I'll say that I haven't got an apprentice myself, so I say what's important. But it would appear to be important to me, from having work experience kids on the van myself from the local college, that those with initiative are valuable, even if they don't know how to swivel a screwdriver necessarily. If you're hammering away and the time's against you, and as you say, Luke, you turn around, you find the place has been swept up and the tools have been put away. Brilliant. That's a keeper. That's someone who's thinking ahead. What can I do? How can I be useful on site? Whereas someone who just stands there looking at his phone, you know that he needs to go.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
I totally agree. Anyone that asks the questions, doesn't mind doing the hours, doesn't clock watch, isn't on social media, asks you questions that maybe you don't even know the answer to, maybe out of work, maybe looks at a few sort of social media sources or YouTube and might mention that during the day, I watched such and such, he did this, have you got any views on it? Anything, someone that's sort of pushing you rather than sort of staying stagnant or pulling you, like sort of being a drag on you, is definitely sort of like hard to come by, and always like a great, when you, they're like a unicorn, aren't they, really, when you get one of them?
Yeah, massive asset. That's why I'm just looking forward to the future with Adam. Like, say he starts this apprenticeship properly with me in September, but until then we're just winging it. Yeah, getting a bit of hands-on experience.
Are you worried that because Adam's on social media that someone might snap him up for a slightly better wage packet?
Well, better than free, if possible. No, he won't go anywhere. If I'd have just found him in the street one day and then he's doing what he's doing now, possibly. But because, like you say, I've known him since he was tiny, and at the same time, he's not only an apprentice, but he's also a famous apprentice. Because he's got companies approaching and speaking to him as well because of YouTube through me. So he's got the world there now. He just needs to make the most of it and get it done. So, and it's what he wants to do. But he's over the moon because of coronavirus. They've just cancelled the rest of his year at college, which is pointless because he was doing level 2, which is then half it he's gonna have to resit anyway when he starts his apprenticeship. So it's just like, oh, we're going to cancel all exams now. He was like, oh, cool, because I have to redo it all anyway when I start my apprenticeship. So, yeah.
Tommy's been great. He's never been late. He's on time every single day. He even during this Corona thing as well, he's not even mentioned anything about not coming in or he's literally every day. He's just there, never whinges, laughs at all my bad jokes.
There's never a bad joke.
Are either or both of you VAT registered?
No.
Yeah.
I'm on the edge, to be honest.
That's what keeps me from expanding. I used to be a 3-man team. We used to be a 3-man team. Obviously,
What happened to him?
But
Coronavirus.
we had a chap called Dior as well, who was great, brilliant guy to work with. He left us to pursue a footballing career. But I found for the year where there were 3 of us on the van, it was very difficult because once there were 3 of us, we had to go VAT registered just because we had to keep the level of work up to pay for 3 wages, well 4 wages really, because the wife's also employed as the bookkeeper. So we had to have that turnover coming in. And I found personally that my time was spent mainly trying to drum up work. I was behind the keyboard most of the time, advertising and dealing with quotes, estimates, visiting customers, and not being on the tools, which is where I want to be. And I was having to leave the sites to Nigel and Deal to attend to. And I found that very hard work. And of course, as soon as you go VAT registered, that's a 20% overhead that Joe down the street, who's a 1-man band, doesn't have to pay because he's a 1-man band and he can keep his thresholds low. And even if you match your pricing to the competition who aren't VAT registered, as soon as you put in an invoice or an estimate rather, and it's got that VAT breakdown on there, they'll look at that and go, well, I'm paying 20% more than I should be on this. If I can convince him to do it for cash, or if I go to somebody else, I can get it cheaper. I found that VAT was did massive damage to the business for mainly domestic work. And once Dior left of his own accord because he decided he wanted to pursue a different career, I was actually quite relieved in a way, because I got to the end of whatever year it was, 2017 I think, thinking if one of these guys leaves, either Nigel or Dior, then the business will probably survive. But if they both want to stay, I can't see it going forward. I'm probably going to have to go back to being a 1-man band and just say, sorry lads, but the VAT is killing me. It's finishing me off. I'm not winning quotes. I'm spending all my time trying to chase up for it. How do you find it, Luke? Is most of your work domestic, and do you find VAT as a bugbear?
When I first started, it was worrying, and I found that I probably did lose a little bit of work to begin with, but I probably would never not be VAT anymore, because I've realised that you get like a different genre of work. The people that say no to you because you're too expensive tend to not be the best customer. You want somebody that isn't too concerned about the price and is more concerned about the quality of work. And so long as once you kind of learn how to sell yourself and sell your products and do your marketing, it's not that bad. I'll be honest, my work's a lot nicer now than it used to be. I mean, yeah, I was busy before, but the work wasn't very nice. Everyone wanted just everything done cheaply and quickly.
Facebook jobs.
Yeah.
So that is. Well, been there. Oh, did you see my Instagram thing about that? The old fuse boards and the rubber cable and everything. Yeah.
Was it a story?
No. I put this actual picture on it. So I actually mentioned this is on my next video. Got a quote. An old guy messaged me. Long story short, he messaged me. I tried to ring him loads of times. Didn't answer his phone. Eventually, he got through to him and he said, "Oh yeah, I need a new fuse board." I said, "Oh right. Okay, do you want me to come quote?" He said, No. I've had a couple of people around. I've just accepted a quote tonight. Went through, long story short, went through with it. I said, "How much did he quote?" Not that I'm trying to steal his work. I'm just interested. If you don't ask, you don't know if the prices around your area. He said, "Oh wait, £876 for a board change." And I thought, Jesus, right, okay. And I said, "No worries," because he literally lives 3 roads away from me on the corner. And I said, "All right, no worries." I said, "If you need anything else, you know where I am." Blah blah blah. Rings me up the next day. I wasn't really happy with the guy that came round. He was round here for 5 minutes, looked at the fuse board, and then rang me up 20 minutes later when he got home and said it'd be 876. I was like, "Oh right, okay." He says, "I want you to come around and quote." And obviously got there. It's 60, 70-year-old fuse board with wiring, rubber everywhere. There was a strip light in the garage, an original strip light, right, which had the normal fluorescent in the middle, an old one, the 2 bayonet ends with fabric cables coming out to screwed onto the joist would have been the starter, the old starter, and the thing, and then someone had written in marker pen on the ceiling, 240 volts, do
I
not
saw
touch. Yeah, that was that. And the guy, when the electrician went, looked at it all and said, "Oh no, that's fine. We'll just put the new board on."
So there's rubber. There's rubber after. It's like all the final circuits are rubber.
Yeah.
You just wouldn't change the board anyway, would you?
No, it's ridiculous. I just said to him, "We need." So one of the first times I said I want to do an EICR before I do a board change, because I don't really do it very much. I don't have the time.
Yeah. I do them now. I'll be honest. I used to just do a few checks, but now I've said to Kieran in the office. I said, "Look, do you know what? We've got enough work. Let's do this properly, because maybe I've just been lucky. I used to go in, I'd check the earthing, I'd do my continuities, I'd do IR tests. I mean, I'd have a run around, a quick visual inspection of the sockets. But we did one, and he had a fault. It was like a neutral to earth fault. I was like, all right, I'll give him a quote for trying to do a bit of fault finding. Maybe if I had a couple of hours on it for finding it, I'll do some terms and conditions about if we can't fix it within the 2 hours, we're going to have to give you a separate quotation to complement this quotation for repair." And I went there, I looked at it, and I just thought, there's absolutely no way I can fix this fault. And it wasn't until I looked into it a little bit deeper I realised there's a lot of DIY about which wasn't picked up. I mean, an IR test isn't going to pick up connector blocks under the floor.
Yeah.
So I looked at that, I just thought, you know what, I need to do this properly. I need to do EICR tests prior to this, and just try and come up with some sort of pricing structure where they don't tell me to F off because I'm charging for an EICR and then I'm charging for a board on top.
With a board change, when someone says it's going to be 400 quid, 500 quid, whatever, 300 quid for a board change, that price is supposed to encompass the EICR.
Yeah.
If someone is just doing a board change, the materials and the labour, they're not that expensive. This guy's quoting what, 800 odd quid for a board change?
876, yeah.
With no fucking testing or inspecting. So why is it that high? He's ripping the guy off. I would always do an EICR before a board change. We don't do a lot of board changes. Maybe that's why. But if I'm going to do a board change, I'm going to do it on my own terms. If someone comes along to someone and says, right, it's 450 quid for that board change, I would expect an EICR within that cost.
Yeah.
I've got a question for you, David. If you do an EICR, it's unsatisfactory. One of the jobs is obviously a DB upgrade. Well, saying it doesn't actually have to be a DB upgrade, but regardless, you're going to do your work, you're going to issue them an installation certificate or minor works. Do you then accompany that with a satisfactory EICR, or do you just leave it as the installation certificate, maybe just reference, remedial work as per observation 1, 2 and 3, EICR number, blah, blah, blah?
Okay, well, if I've done an EICR and found it to be unsatisfactory, and then I subsequently put in the remedials and a board change, I would issue an EIC, because that would supersede the EICR. That contains the up-to-date information. So EIC would supersede the report and contain the new relevant information and comments. And there will be no need to then provide a separate report on top of that, not that I can see.
That's exactly what I've been doing up until, I haven't done it yet, but I work for an estate agent and they've got landlords, and I'm just fed up with saying what you said every single day.
Really?
So I'm going to do an EIC, and the software I use can actually make a duplicate of a EICR or convert an EIC into a EICR, sort of carry over a lot of the circuit details. So just to save myself that question.
Is that because they say, well, we want a report that says it's satisfactory?
Pretty much, yeah. And then you have to say, but you don't need one because this complements the EICR that we've given you.
Yeah, but this is it. I mean, if you've got an EIC, and it's the same on a new build. If you've got an EIC that says this installation as we built it is fit for 10 years, obviously that doesn't include Joe Dickhead coming along and his home-based modifications. But if someone has signed that off for 10 years, then there's no need to then second-guess that and start producing a report. A house builder selling a new house would give you an EIC. They wouldn't give you an EICR, would they? Because it's like, this is new. We don't need to produce a report. We don't need something that says physically the word satisfactory. Here's the paperwork that rubber stamps it, guarantees it. That's all you need for it at this time. In 10 years' time, you might want a report on its condition. I understand where you're coming from, because they just look at that and think, well, I want the report. I want the word satisfactory.
Yeah, it's only what they recognise, isn't it?
Yeah, but you, whether it's an EIC or an EICR, if you've said it's okay and you've signed it, then you're taking the legal liability for it. So it's not for anybody else to say, well, I want this other paperwork. So no. I've taken the legal liability for the ongoing safety of the electrical installation based on how I've seen it and tested it today. I've taken that on. You don't need another piece of paper with any other wording on it. You've got it. That my signature's on it. I've taken that on. My company's taken the liability for it.
It's just having to say that repeatedly, which eventually gets quite monotonous.
Yeah.
David can record it what he's just said. You can just WhatsApp it to someone. There you are. Boom.
Yeah. Yeah, do a little YouTube video. Just every time they ask the questions, just send them the link.
That's it.
If you're watching this video, then you must have asked the question. Do I need a satisfactory EICR? Hey guys, who's that over in the corner selling merch out of a suitcase?
It's Jimmy the Thief. He's doing discounted test equipment special. No cases, no charges, no serial numbers.
I had a look when I came in, but you'd have to be an arsehole to buy some other tradesperson's stolen gear. Better to take advantage of the pricing at tradesparky.com, as they do the range of test instruments any serious spark needs. And at their prices, you don't need to buy anything nicked.
Yeah, tradesparky.com. Worth looking at. Do you want an ideal pencil?
I'm alright, thanks, mate. I've got like a million bloody Skullmore pens in my thing over there.
Oh, hang on.
Have you been on SGTV? Have they asked you to do?
They've asked me to. Oh no, they asked me, but now they're postponing it because of the old corona. What's the deal? I noticed you was in Professional Electrician, David.
You know, because I went to Skullmore. Well, yeah, I did that one day at Skullmore where they did some videos and they said, would you want to be on the cover of Professional Electrician? I thought, yeah, okay. I mean, no one's ever going to ask me to do that again, I figured, because, you know, I'm old and fat and I'm no Nick Bundy, let's face it. so yeah, I'd be up for that. And yeah, they kept the Mac hat and everything, except they coloured the rim.
I saw that. They did, didn't they? Just the blue bit.
You had to wear one of their T-shirts, I saw as well.
Yes, they let me keep the T-shirt. I've still got the Avaya T-shirt.
Did you get a mention in it? I can't remember if I read the article or not.
No, just a picture, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe I didn't. Maybe there wasn't an article then. That's why I didn't read it.
There was. Yeah, I was on page 58. So I believe. But no, they didn't mention my name. They just had this fat bloke in their boardroom pretending to connect up a
light. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Is it a click plug?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the only time I've ever picked up a Professional Electrician magazine and not flicked directly to the caught on camera section.
Yeah. Well, you know what the frustrating thing is I thought, oh, that'd be interesting. I'll pick one up when I'm in cities. And CEF, they have their own cover on. They have their own personalised cover. Oh, bastards. So I went to Denman's and they've got their own personalised covers. Like, does anybody have a cover that I'm actually on? So I had to go to an independent wholesaler and pick up a copy.
Yeah, I noticed it the other day on our one because E5 on the front.
Yeah, that was the month before.
Yeah.
E5 on the front. But yeah.
I'll be there. I'll be there soon, mate. Don't worry. I'll send you all a picture.
Yeah, you will as well. Luke, is there anything about your line of work that annoys you?
In this day and age, David, I would probably say it's just the products, mate. Back in the day when it was just a pendant and a filament lamp, it wasn't too bad. But nowadays, there's a lot. It's your products that let you down. It doesn't matter how good you are, and you're going to offer your 6-year NIC, EIC platinum promise. Unfortunately, the products can let you down, and it's quite embarrassing when they do.
I know where this is going. You're going to complain about lighting, aren't you? Because that's a bugbear of mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, lighting definitely is one of them. A lot of smart stuff can let you down as well. It would seem that the more something can do, the more there is to go wrong.
Yeah, I tell you the biggest. I know this is one of yours, Luke, because we've spoken about this before. But one of the biggest pain in the arses I find is when the customer presents you with a light they bought from a big chain like John Lewis. Other chains are available, of course. They spent £300 on it, and it comes with a crappy little white connector block suitable perhaps a flex. And the thing is metal, but it claims to be class 2 because it's got this stupid little block on it. And you've got 3 cables coming out the ceiling, loop in, loop out, switch. Excuse me.
Are you okay, David?
Oh,
that corona seems to have gone down the wrong hole. The corona's got you.
That went down the wrong way. Right. Yeah. So you got you loop in, loop out your switch, and you got this shitty little connector block, and you're supposed to maintain 2 layers of insulation throughout, and you can't let a single layer of insulation loose in there because it's a metal light, although it's pretending to be class 2. That's going to be a pisser for you chaps as well, hasn't it?
Yes, I do get that a lot, and not only the class 2, but you also get the IP rated bathroom light fitting, which only has enough room for 1 flex, not even a twin and earth.
Oh, good.
And to be honest, sometimes that's class 2 as well, and you can't even fit the 3rd earth core in, which sometimes I have to hide a little junction box behind it and just bring out a 2-core flex into that light fitting.
This is it. At least, I suppose, in the bathroom, often you can get into the attic and junction it off, or as you say, but if you're putting a junction behind it, if it's one on that's in a bathroom on the ground floor or something, and you've got rooms above, if you're having to open up the ceiling, of course, to create room for a junction box,
that's right, because it might compromise the fire eggs.
Pain in the arse, is it not? Is it not?
Very much so. But then again, if you seal in the junction box, and it sort of complements another regulation that all junctions should be accessible.
Unless, of course, you're using a maintenance-free enclosure like the good old
Insure boxes.
deal insure boxes.
I used a few of them today. Adam prefers them, and I was like, why is that? Because it's a nice colour of blue.
It is an ocean blue.
Okay, mate. Cool. Wait for it.
Guys, is there anything that you use and you don't get on with it, but you know what they could do to make it better?
Yes.
Go on.
I just want to have a nice dig at Yes Electrical.
Go for
That's
it.
all. With their own brand Luxner downlights. I bought hundreds, up to over 1,000 of them, and to have them all fail and go around and have to go around customer's house for free, pull them out. My local one shut, so I ended up having to go across to Birmingham because they said, you need to bring all the ones that are broken back, and I brought them back 42 broken ones to then have to go around those people's houses and fit them again with a warranty. And then they gave me the new ones that have a separate box attached to it that I think is a driver, an external driver, because the internal drivers before were burning out or something or other. And it was just like, where do you stand with that sort of thing? Because I wanted to write an invoice out and send it to Yes Electrical and go, you're paying me for this now, because all the time I've wasted. I'm not charging the customers for it, because I fitted that with a 3-year guarantee on fixtures and fittings.
Yeah.
And I was losing out. You know, it's daft. Really is daft. And this is where you probably are at, Dave, is in your quotations or invoices with all your detailed description of the work that you do or the products you buy. But I don't have anything written down like that, so I was a bit like, I just took it on the chin and just went, right, I just won't buy any more of their stuff.
Well, listen, I always provide 24 months no quibble warranty, or at least for those who pay up on time. And yes, it can bite you on the arse. Now, some downlights, they'll give you something like a 5-year warranty. Some will just be the 12-month manufacturer warranty. I try and buy something that I trust to last, and occasionally it does bite you on the arse. And it's always either LED floodlights or LED integrated downlights or GU10 lamps. It's always LED, isn't it? And
Yeah.
And I've had problems with big brands. Osram, Philips, Megaman have all let me down in the past when I've had to go back under warranty and sort it out.
Microwave sensors have been a massive pain in my arse, especially ones for outside.
Yeah, I had the same thing with when they just became integrated into the floodlights. And they were, get this, you can have the remote with and everything. Literally 6 months later, all of them broke.
The trouble is, if a manufacturer says it's got a 5-year warranty on it, well, that's fucking marvellous. That's great. But if I've said to my customer, I'm still going to say to my customer, it's a 2-year no quibble warranty. That's what I'm going to say to them. I'm not going to say that's got a 5-year warranty on it. If I have to go out after 18 months and change it out, then that's great for me that it's got a 5-year warranty on it, and I'll sort it out. But I've got back in the office down by a reputable manufacturer whose name I won't mention. It rhymes with JCB.
Rhymes with it, is it? Okay.
I've never installed or bought and installed that brand of downlights, but I've been to plenty of sites where I've had to replace them because someone else has put them in. And like, oh right, that's gone, is it? Yeah, I've seen that happen before. And what annoys me about them is they had a problem a few years ago where there were a lot of premature failures and there was a lot of contractor confidence in them dropped, so they extended their warranty. They said, okay, we normally offer whatever it is, 5 years, now we're offer 7 years, something like that. I can't remember what it was. But the trouble is, to make good on that claim, you have to have the original receipt. So if I get called in and someone says, I've got these 12 kitchen downlights, those 2 have failed, I can remove them, and I can see on them the batch code, the manufacture date, and I know that it was made 3 years ago, for example, 4 years ago, and it's still within the manufacturer warranty, the extended manufacturer warranty. But unless I've got the original receipt for it, I can't claim under that warranty. I have to say to them, well, I can't claim under the warranty. The original installer can. Well, I don't know who did it. It was the electrician that the builder employed when they did my kitchen conversion. I don't know who that is. So you're sort of left with this thing that should be replaced according to what the manufacturer says they will support, but you can't replace it. And of course, since then, the manufacturer's moved on, so the new model doesn't physically look like the old.
I was going to say that.
Yeah, and this is why I'd usually avoid integrated downlights.
Yeah. So that's a good question, David, because Part L of the building regulations, does that still specify that 75% of a new build has to be of an integrated downlight or of a type of fixture that can't be changed for?
That is a good question, Luke.
But has it changed?
No, I remember that was the case, and they brought out all sorts of measures to stop you from being able to retrofit things like halogens, and you had some crazy things on there. We had some downlights we replaced quite recently that were in a kitchen. Back at the end of the 2010s, they were putting in downlights where the lamp itself was a specific kind of lamp. I can't remember the model name now. I've got some back at base.
Are you on about the fluorescent with a weird base that clicked into the
a PL lamp?
It's a GU10 base, but it was bigger than a GU10 lamp, physically wider than a GU10 lamp. So you couldn't just stick a GU10 lamp into it, and that was the point. They didn't want you to retrofit a halogen GU10 lamp into it. You had to buy this specific compact fluorescent lamp that fitted it. It was made by Aurora, actually, and of course they stopped making them. And they never brought out an LED equivalent. So those people who have those fittings were screwed. And there was also, of course, the fluorescent pendants.
Yeah, that's the one that I was on about, yeah.
I can't remember the name of those either. So you couldn't just stick in a standard bayonet lamp. You had to have like a 4-pin fluorescent lamp or 2-pin PL lamp, that fitted into this base. And of course, that was all very well and good for about 2 years, and then LED came along, and it's like, well, why are we fitting fluorescents now? And it all moved on.
Because let's be honest, fluorescents are shit.
Well, the thing is, as you say, Luke, the Part L came along saying, "Thou shalt not fit in any kind of enclosure where you could retrofit a lamp that is inefficient." But inefficient lamps are now out. And you couldn't buy halogen now. You'd only buy LED. So we go around fitting GU10 cans, because if the customer doesn't like the brightness of the lamp, the colour of the lamp, if they want to change from non-dimmable to dimmable, if they want to have something that's more efficient as the market changes in the future, if a lamp fails and they want to be able to change it themselves without calling an electrician out, you have all these advantages of having just a GU10 can, as opposed to an integrated fitting that when it fails you can't buy anymore, and you can't exchange into warranty because you've lost the receipt from 3 years ago, even though they're supposed to still be supported, and all this kind of nonsense.
Are you using the the N lights and Aurora cans?
I have done. I like them. The ones we usually use are the ones that sit in stock on the shelf, were made by, I think, ELD.
Okay.
The thing we like about those is that they're fire rated, acoustic rated, they're good price, they allow for one twin and earth in and out. They're double insulated, so they don't need to be earth, but they're provision for earth. And the bezels are aluminium, so if you use them in a bathroom, they're not going to go rusty.
I totally agree. I think I'm going to see an end to integrated light fittings, because with all this plastic waste and things like that, when they take their range off the shelf, because I've been to a property where they might have 12 lights, 2 of them have failed, you can't get them anymore. The newer version don't match the old ones, so you end up throwing 12 lights away, which can't really be recycled. I mean, that's floating around in the ocean somewhere. It'd be much better if it's just 12 lamps that get thrown in the bin and you just change them for 12 other GU10 lamps.
The last job I had where we had that problem, we were quite fortunate in that they had the same lights in the bathroom, so we were able to put new ones in the bathroom, which was a smaller room, and then take out the ones that were in there and use them, a couple of them, to replace the ones that had gone, and have a couple of spares. So there can be ways and means, but it's faff that the client shouldn't have to put up with.
Yeah.
I reckon they probably will get rid of the integrated, because I mean, look at consumer units with the 10% spare. Everything's sort of future-proofed and like looking at the next step when more electrics might be in the property or what's going to happen in 10 years' time. Integrated was never looked upon like that. It was more of an energy-saving thing. But energy saving isn't so much of an issue anymore. Like you said, they've got rid of 100 watts and 60 watts and 50 watt halogen down lights. I mean, they're all gone now. It's not even an option. So maybe the next option is like, well, what do we do about waste?
Well, I'm looking forward to the day that every downlight isn't, each bezel's not bagged up, each downlight's not bagged up separately from the bloody connector, separately in the box, and then wrapped in bloody plastic as well. Yeah. Jesus, please just send me all the stuff in a bag, just all together. It drives me insane.
Absolutely. Think of the oceans. Think of the fish.
Think of the turtles.
Think of the poor fish and turtles. Do you know, I had a bit when I had some beers the other day, which is very rare, to be honest. I got scissors out and I cut the ring, what are they called? I went on and cut them just in case they ever end up in the ocean. It saves a turtle or bird or fish's life.
There's a turtle swimming around now going, thanks, Nick.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. Like and subscribe,
He's subscribed.
That's it. Well, I'll do my part, no problem.
Fucking Captain Planet here.
Fuck off.
He's a hero.
David Attenborough. Well, today.
Did you ever watch that, Nick?
What's that?
Captain Planet.
I have no idea what you're on about.
You're showing your age there, Luke.
Oh, I loved all the. But I think my generation. I don't know how you are, Dave, but I had the best cartoons. Did you watch Dungeons and Dragons?
Oh yeah.
Oh, so you don't understand.
Well, you're not that much older than me. He's 7, 8 years older than me.
Yeah, but have you seen Dungeons and Dragons?
No, I know that's a board game for nerds.
It used to be a cartoon. It was a really good cartoon.
The stuff I was talking to my brother about the other day, we used to watch Gargoyles. Do you remember Gargoyles? It used to be on a Saturday or Sunday morning. I used to jump into bed with my dad and my brother, and we'd put it on. Back in the day, with the TVs with the massive backs. My mum would work Saturday morning, so we'd watch Gargoyles in bed and have a packet of Maryland biscuits and a brew. living the dream. And then the next thing that was on was Land of the Lost. Do you remember that?
I do remember Land of the Lost.
That was sick. I can't remember what happened in it. If people got lost on obviously this either planet, I can't remember. I'm getting mixed up. I know we used to watch Land of the Lost, and then there was the other one, which was Bigfoot, which is the animated one with the dinosaurs. Bigfoot, Littlefoot, and
the Land Before Time.
That's it. Yeah.
That was really sad.
Yeah, it was.
That was like when Bambi's mum dies.
Yeah.
Didn't his mum die? Do you know? Even to this day, right, Nick? I don't know about you, but to this day, right, they're called long necks.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
There's no such thing as a Brachiosaurus. There's a T-Rex. There's a Triceratops. And there's a long neck.
Luke, you're a bridge between Nick and I here because you've got the shit down on both of us.
Yeah, so you remember when Dave used to play with a ball and a stick and a cup, and then you got me with the original Xbox. So we're all right.
Like a love triangle. Without the love.
Chipper does really.
Well, it's been fun, lads, but I need to pop off. Do you know if there's a cash point around here?
Not one that hasn't been vandalised. How much do you need?
About 20 quid, mate. That should do it.
Yeah. Here you go. I can lend you that.
Nice one, mate. Well, I hate to rush off, but I've got to see someone.
All right, mate. Thanks for coming, bud. I'll see you around, yeah?
Yeah, bye, Luke.
Where's he going now? Back to that disabled toilet? Did he just grab the last loo roll out there?
I tell you, Nick, I reckon he's had one too many because he's gone out the fire exit instead of the front door there.
Weird. Very weird. Well, that brings us to an end. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.